Alright, everybody, welcome back. This is going to be another Stormgate cast. I'm algorithm0r, and this is actually going to be a special 2v2 cast here today. And let me introduce our teams in the cool colors here in the blue and teal. We've got AVI in the Vanguard here. And also playing Vanguard in the teal will be Thanks. There we go. And over on the hot team here in the red is myself, algorithm0r. And my partner today is my buddy, Dutchy, the miasma abuser. He's playing the orange Infernal. So we've got an Infernal versus Vanguard, but it's a 2v2 Infernal versus Vanguard. And I thought I'd just take a moment. If you are a regular follower of my channel and you watch my videos day to day, you will notice I didn't have any videos the last couple days. My apologies for that. I've been a little too busy with work, and I also got ill, which makes it a little bit hard to cast. And so I'm hopefully going to get back on it with today's 2v2. And there are going to be some more 2v2 games coming down the chute here shortly, so stay tuned for that, as there will be a 2v2 tournament this weekend hosted by Arail. So once again, thank you, Arail, for hosting so many great Stormgate tournaments. And I plan to do some casting on that, so you might see some of those games showing up on my channel soon. So stay tuned for that. But let's get into this game. We see the dogs are already here harassing a bit. It looks like there will be some creeping being done with this Brute and Hex in here while the dogs are trying to get a scout out. Well, it looks like Dutchy has gone into 3 shrines, and so have I. We've both gone into 3 shrines. I've got a vault and a conclave here. He's got a conclave on the way, and he's got a vault out here. Yeah, he's got a vault way out there and a farm out here. Some defensive buildings out front. And let's see how our Vanguards are doing. We've got AVI and Thanks here sharing this expansion location, and a couple racks here for AVI. A rack's on the way for Thanks, but Thanks has gone 3 CPs first, 3 command posts. So he's also on the macro game. So everyone's kind of opened a little bit macro here. It does look like Thanks and AVR are using those team emotes to help coordinate their actions. Whereas it looks like algorithm0r, that's me, and Dutchy we're playing a little bit solo, and we were not on a voice call here, so we were communicating pretty minimally in this game. Mostly just watching the minimap, just try and see what our friend and ally was doing. And yeah, we can see those emotes being used by Thanks and AVI to communicate. I haven't actually, figured out the muscle memory yet to use the emotes. It feels kind of awkward for me to use that. The way they're set up on the mouse with the Alt key right now just feels weird to me. But for team games like this, I think they can be very useful. So I might have to do that as team games become more popular, and I hope they do become more popular because they are pretty fun. Here we have finally a force of AVI. It looks like trying to go creep this, but Dutchy was already here. Dutchy's trying to take it, but it looks like no, he's going to just steal the creeps and relinquish the tower to AVI. And AVI has a good force of Lancers here, but it's not clear. We've got a bunch of units now sort of trailing across the map for Thanks. He's sending a dog to take this one. And it's a lot of racks, although what do we have here? Machine bay and a hangar, a machine lab, sorry, and a hangar bay, but okay, that must have been some miscontrol or something happened with the bobs there. Bobs can be a little bit finicky. Here we have a bunch of skulls harassing, So these Lancers and Exo tried to get forward, but it looks like there's a lot of Hexens here for Miasma Abuser for Dutchy, which makes sense since he likes to abuse the Miasma. Whereas I've got a Mag out, it looks like. Otherwise, we're both sort of on that Tier 1 tech. And advancing my defensive structures just a little bit there. It looks like Spriggans might be on the way for Dutchy. And here we have a force from Thanks moving forward. Although I don't know if he wants to fight into this. He is going to try and snipe one of those Shroud Stones before it got down. But no, he's forced back. And some good micro from Thanks to keep his units alive while trying to get some damage done. And he does want to skirmish here. But the farm is about to come down and the Shroud Stone's going to be right behind that. So popping a few of my brutes again, but being forced off the buildings as they come alive. The Magmadon now getting some good stomps, kills the Lancer and pulls back. He does get picked off though, but two more Magmadon show up as well as a Hellborn. So these units are going to have to retreat now. Again, they're going to try their best to pick off some brutes or mags as they go. And the Hellborn there in the back, able to get some of that damage done. That was able to kill one of those Exos. Now up on the top here, we also have an engagement. Some mines going down actually, while AVI is trying to find a way in. Well, the units of Dutchy are microing around. Some good control there. There are mines there, aye. But AVI does pull back. They're invisible to me here right now. It's very hard to see. Some miasmas going down. Oh, some really nice miasmas, and AVI is unfortunately standing in them, which means a lot of damage going down, a lot of very low units here with some Hellborns in the back. That's doing a great job of cleaning this up, doing a lot of dancing. So AVI is trying to stay out of the miasma, but more going down, more units show up, and this is just going to be too much now. With the Sentinels putting the Stasis drones down on the Hellborn are just stuck and have to be sacrificed. But meanwhile, my units, because both of the army went up there, my units now have pushed forward into the production here. And they're doing their best to kill any of these units that are popping out. Actually, I could fight this. I don't know why I'm turning... Okay, so I just wanted a better, maybe, positioning. And it looks like the units from Thanks have arrived from the north here. That's going to make it a 2 versus 1 again, and lots of good sentry drones going down. Unfortunately, they still have that bug where the Magmadon is moved out of its range. And good micro from Thanks to sort of focus fire down the remaining units. And now going to take out that mag. So my units went down. I have a forward farm here. I think I was going to try and take this base. But now it is Dutchy pushing forward again. A little fighting over this north base. It's almost like there's two different lanes here. One on the north side, one on the south. Dutchy's holding the north. I'm trying to hold the south. But Thanks and AVI are playing a bit more of a team game. At least not now, actually. Now they are fully on their side. So this is Thanks pushing forward here, trying to get the base here. He pulls back, which means that the Bruiser does get aggroed onto the Shroud Stone. And now my units are fighting that. One Mag pushing forward to try and zone the units back with the trample. And doing a pretty good job of that. But the Shroud Stone is going to go down, taking a lot of damage from the Bruiser. And finally picked off. Thanks doing a great job here of microing his units around. And I'm focusing my Shroud Stone. That was a huge mistake. I didn't even notice I did that. Must have misclicked there while I tried to A-move my units. But Thanks got pulled back because Dutchy's up here pushing forward. And Thanks is going to come in and get a flank almost. Dutchy's going to try and pull back, but so many effective sentry drones there. Those skills are certainly, I think, slept on by a lot of Vanguard players. In terms of the single unit crowd control skills, the Lash got nerfed a while ago. The Gravity Flux also got a little nerf, but we haven't seen one on the Stasis drone yet. I think it's just because it hasn't entered the meta yet. I'm watching this engage up here, but there is also an engage going down at the south here, where these Magmadons, ooh, getting some pretty good tramples on here, while at the same time, Thanks' units have pushed Dutchy back and are destroying this base. So this base is going down, and Dutchy's in a little bit of trouble, but so is AVI here. He's doing his best to try and take out some of those Magmadons, but the Gaunts here are just helping with the infest damage, some fiends popping out. I'm not even sure if I'm microing as this Hellborn is stuck on the buildings. And more Exos coming out here. Looks like this base was pushed back. A nice trample here, getting on a lot of units. Some of those units get forward, and now the Gaunts are going down. More tramples. So good Magmadon play, but here come those sentry drones again. And there are helicarriers now. This is not going to look good for this tiny army of mine. And again, so many sentry drones here, all these big units. Actually, that was interesting that AVI let these units all come out of Stasis drone at the same time instead of picking them off one at a time. And at the same time, we do have Dutchy pushing in pretty hard up here. But we've got bombing runs here and sentry drones. Those were some pretty clutch bombing runs there. The Brutes are doing their best to take, but they're kind of focusing fire in these buildings and walking around. The Miasmas are going down, but it might be a little bit too late. The Hellborns are focused on the helicarriers, but we kind of want them for the ground units. Luckily, there are enough Brutes and Fiends here that the ground units are being picked off. But I think those Brutes want to be on top of the medtech so that there's less of these nanoswarms. And the sentry drones are doing a huge job taking out the Hellborn here. And there's also an army down here trying to face off at the low ground. My units are dwindling. There's a lot of Exos here. They're using the system shock to be extra speedy. I have just a couple Hellborn that are enough with this static D to try and hold them off. And for a moment, there is just a little stalemate. While up here, the Hellborn are trying to get some damage done on these helicarriers, but the helicarriers are bringing in the serious bombing runs. And look at that nano swarm bubble, nano protection bubble. I can't ever remember that one. There's too many nanos in this. Nano defense bubble, which of course is doing a lot to protect the units from the Hellborn damage. Here comes some shadow flyers, but there's only a few of them. Even with the splash, they don't get any done. And some of these Hexen moving forward. Hexen are terrible anti-air. There's Dutchy with the colloquial, "This isn't going well for me." Let's say that's what he said. He's losing down here, while my forces over here actually are making headway with AVI. And AVI is also calling it, saying, "I think I'm done here. I don't know if I can take it." Thanks says we are winning. Okay, so it's not sure. Both sides are not sure who's going to win this. And Dutchy thinks he's screwed. So does AVI. Certainly this base is going down for AVI. These Magmadons have gotten lost. And now as the sentry drones are... Oh, we don't see any yet, but the Sentinels have arrived. The Magmadons are going to do their best. But here come the sentries. Well timed to stop the tramples. And as both of these forces come together here, my units get wiped out. And, well, I do have some Gaunts here, but that's not going to be much. That's going to be a GG from me and a GG from Dutchy. And hope you enjoyed this 2v2. And like I said, a few more that should be showing up on my channel in the coming weeks. So thanks for watching and stay tuned for those more Stormgate games.